How the hell are you? Christ, you haven't crossed my mind since all the shit we knew turned into shit we hoped was true. Forget it. Take my arm and tell me, how the hell are you? How the hell am I? Barely know these days, my friend. We get by. But the nights are good. I don't know why. I do know why. Enough of this. My man, don't cry. Sun shines on the square. Whatever's next, whatever fool parades parading there, let's be old fools with not a care, poor visitors from out of town who don't know this was where it all began again. Plaque there, where the thing kicked off. Here come the same young men in the same lines. Remember when we... Never mind. Huzzah! Forever! Glory be! Amen! Etc. Off they go. Sunlight glancing off their gear. New world of years ago. But you didn't hear me say that, though, because I never did. How does your bastard garden grow? Here's a howdy-do. Remember how this couldn't happen, given what we knew? Those checks and balances and due process and fair play. Christ Jesus, wink an eye if you remember. I forget. It wasn't true. So why remember anyway? Let bygones be. I'm glad we met. It's nice to be reminded something isn't over yet. I just mean you and me, out strolling in the square together, stopping here for tea, two creatures with no history, who dreamed it would be otherwise. But who the hell were we? That's the title poem of my book, How the Hell Are You? It doesn't have a question mark, it's just a full stop. How the hell are you? That's it's out from Picador a few weeks ago, and the strange thing about this book is that it's called How the Hell Are You, which seems to be almost like the motto of this year, any time you talk to anyone. And the cover of my book has a scarecrow wearing a gas mask and a top hat in a wilderness with a live dog. That was just my mild commentary on English politics at the time, like a year and a half before COVID. So both title and cover were already in place before this thing struck us, and I only had time to write one poem about it. But now, of course, I think retrospectively all of the poems were about the pandemic. So we'll see how that works out. There are a few strange sonnets in there, lonely sonnets. Maybe that's how it works. They're lonely, strange sonnets which don't really understand the rules of the game in terms of writing and reading. This one has got no conception that anyone wrote it, so it thinks it's an entirely immortal, independent object. It's got no sense that it was created. So it's called One Gone Rogue. No one made me. Nothing did. I do get these faces sailing close a while, who seem to see a soul in me, like you, and settle their old features to a smile of all in this together. I hate that. No one made me. Nothing did. You can't meet some stranger over me. I'm what? Tinder for you? What? I'm talking point? I'm no one's. Clock me and I clock the fuck right back at you. I've never been begun. I was never worked on. Why would I take work, and who would do it? You with the summer gone and your book in the dead of night? You want to try it? Or me, who knows me? Hasn't it gone quiet? This is a slightly sweeter sonnet, but this sonnet is deluded, and although it has more goodwill towards the rest of creation, it thinks it's the only thing left. It thinks that literally everything in the universe is looking at it, which is probably a perspective that poets have been familiar with. This is a sonnet called Thinks It's All There Is. As far as I can see, that's everyone. So thanks for that. But where else would you be? Whatever came or went has come and gone without you. Why would you not turn to me? Look, I too turn to me. I'm just like you. Stuff came and went, but nothing really took. So this became what else there was to do. This became where else there was to look. This became the language that is spoken here, and here became the only spot. Here I sense I'm only silence broken. Here I sing, because I see what's not is almost back. It's frightening. I had plans. You might have warned me. Hold my hand. Both hands. And this sonnet is much sweeter, but it's sadder. This sonnet is not deluded, it's just been left behind. It's a love sonnet written by someone to someone else, but this sonnet can't remember who wrote it and who it was for. So it's trying to figure that out. This is the last poem I have in the book. Love sonnet left behind. Brought to light, they say I was, by one the Maker wanted with him now. Not now as in at once, but when this work was done. Which meant he had to pass through me somehow to get to her. Was it a her? Don't know. My back was turned. The Maker was a he, I know for sure, though it's so long ago. A woman didn't make me. Look at me. A woman would have lifted me from this fixture I was nailed to on that day, borne me away and set me down in bliss, somewhere he'll never find me, somewhere grey, the many shades of mercy. Somewhere you, who I was made for, will be hiding too. I'm reading these poems in the Coronet Theatre, which is my favourite theatre. And I've had plays on in various places, but this is my favourite theatre in London. It used to be the Coronet Cinema, and it was the print room, and now it's the Coronet Theatre, and it has, all theatres have ghost lights, have had ghost lights through this pandemic, but there's more than ghost lights going on here. There's my friends doing this, and there's me reading it, and the bar is just down there, which is by far the best theatre bar that I've ever been in, and it's tantalisingly close and also shut. But the thought that it's there, the thought that I'm actually within the walls of a theatre after all these months is pretty glorious. And the theatre's just there. I took a little look at all the seats under sheeting and was full of emotion. Well. So I'll carry on with some more nasty, dry poems to just alleviate that sentimentality. It's really great to be at the Coronet. I can't wait for it to open again. I can't wait to see plays here and socialise and have a drink at the bar with the sloping floor. Thanks, Marion and Andy, for setting this up. You ask me what I do, and I say I've no time for you. You make small talk with me, you make it with eternity. You ask me, am I rude to everyone? And I say, dude, you got that straight. You say, you met your perfect match today. You'd like to be together today, tomorrow, and forever. Then you seem to see how strange it is you're telling me. You ask me what I do, and I say, I've no time for you. You make small talk with me. You make it with eternity. In recent times, I've contemplated the blank page I was writing on quite a lot. It became a big kind of character in my stuff. And this is the first one of those I ever wrote, where I tried to imagine what the blank page was, or blank screen would say when I arrived at it of a morning, ready to tell the world what I thought about everything, and then perhaps charge them for the privilege later on down the road. This is the first response of the blank page. Blank page speaks. May I say that when I meet you in the morning, and you infer from silence that there's nothing you can't say, one thing I'm also saying is there's nothing you can do. May I say that when I meet you in my brightness, you in a ragged gown to do your business, it's not I who presses it from you. Do I look restless? Only you. Only you drag from what you dream of to pen your variation on the theme of how you are this morning. May I say I had a dream of something too? Obviously not. And off you go now. Left your little footprint. Let it snow now. Let it snow. And you can dream, I wonder where you go now. Can't you? This is a poem that's it's really on the same subject, but it's a bit more developed and a bit less. It's a bit deeper. Anyway, the Sam Wanamaker Theatre at the Globe a few years ago asked poets to respond to the poems of John Donne and George Herbert and Hopkins and William Blake, and come and read the poems in their lovely indoor theatre there. And I found a stanza in George Herbert. I can't even remember which stanza form it is, but I stole it from George Herbert, as you should. You should steal stanza forms out of love. And I wrote this poem, which is called The White. I don't share any of the deep Christianity or deep, profound belief of George Herbert, but I felt I needed to talk about some kind of development through my youth into middle and age and beyond, and I related it in terms to, well, you guessed it, the white space, and it's really about how when you're young and a young writer, you think you can write anything, and you don't even hear what you're writing upon. You don't hear the opposite of what you're doing. You don't hear the cold, the time passing. You don't hear the wind blowing. You don't hear whatever the white space means between the stanzas. So it's a poem that really covers that as much as I can cover it, and it's called, with no great stride of imagination, The White. When you first made a sound, you made a sound on nothing, not on peace, on nothing, not on silence, nor the grand absence of what was, on nothing. And it hadn't got that name, nor any name. It looked like what's to come, and has gone now, that swathe of white. And white was just a term for it, not a thing to notice, that polite attendant at the gate, with nothing to examine but a list, clocking and ticking all who've simply passed by now without a word. What kind of fool can't make his mark on white? When you first made a sound, you could make all the sounds there are, could write the moment in the moment, at the pace it passes you when you don't hear it pass. Until you do. You saw that stanza break. And now it dawns on you, you're in a fight with something. What you make is making something too, and it's something you don't mean. The gaps, the blanks are everywhere, and vague oblivion blinks. Whatever room you enter, shrug it off. There's nothing there. It's white. It doesn't speak. There's nothing to speak of. Nothing compared to what you have to say, have come to say, have left to say. It seems you thought your gift a gift. But look what's walking with it. Each line ending turns your head. It's nothing. The wind, perhaps. Crack on with what you're saying. But all you hear is breathing. You hide in other voices, so the space will come for them and leave you be. But these it doesn't want, your plays, your make-believe. They edge away, immune to far away, and once upon, said, safe. They are leaving you alone, like beloved actors will. Now white is dark and audible from here. To do your work is to defer it, though you hurtle there on its cold fuel. To cry against it is to sound its orchestra, and the opposite, to cry, will bring it in white gloves and epaulets to say there, and dab your eyes to bits. Nor can you shake it off. It's now the cold, the soon, the gone, the neither. It strolls with you. Your wrist is lightly held. Your breath depends. Forever streams beside you like the only river. And what they make you gingerly step over, you don't recall. When you next make a sound, you strike a match in darkness. See, all that grows is growing all around, and all you wrote was helpless as a witness. If the white did this to you, all this it made of you, or made you do, what is its name? Who was it? Who lives here? To which that same benign attendant sweetly smiles at the screen door. And if you wish to sign her leather-bound great crimson book, just do, for no one's asking you or stopping you. I'm going to finish with two poems that are a little bit sweeter, because there's a lot of consolation to be had in the between the stanza breaks. I find in life and poetry. These are both to someone. This is a sonnet I wrote for my daughter 3 years ago. You can tell it's 3 years ago because I mentioned that she's 20, and she's now 23, and 3 weeks ago became a mother. It's a poem about helping her to hold back time and promising I'd help her hold back time. So given the fact that 3 years later she was a mother and had a beautiful daughter, and I'd become a grandfather, you can see how well that went, that holding back time. Nevertheless, I'm still out there trying to do that for her. This is called The Ledge for Alfie. Woken again by nothing, with this line already at my back. I thought of you at 20, as you are, which passed somehow while I was staring. Thought how yesterday you said you wanted to be young again, which left me with this nothing left to say that's woken me. You are, you are. What else does father wail to child? Though wailing it, he's woken with 6/7 of the night to go. You are. Look, I will set to work this very moment, slowing time myself, feet to the stone and shoulder to the dark to gain new ground. If just one ledge of light you flutter to right now, rereading that. Before I read the last poem, I'd again like to thank Marion and Andy for setting this beautiful reading up. I'm not saying this is the best reading I've ever done to two people. I've done readings to two people and less, but this is the best one that's been in low single figures. Hopefully in the future you'll remember why that is. Anyway, also I really like to thank my good friend Anda for everything she's made of the Coronet, everything she does here, the magic that happens around these corridors and in this theatre. It's great to be here and great to be doing this. This is my last poem is an elegy. It's to my dad, who passed away 4 years ago, and of course I expected I'd write something about him or to him at some point, and I couldn't find the right way in somehow. Didn't know, made a few false moves. And then it was either March or October, by which I mean it was daylight saving was coming around, either in the spring or the autumn, and there's the usual ridiculous 24-hour news item about getting rid of daylight saving because somebody's annoyed with it and somebody defends it. And I remember thinking, I really don't want him to get rid of daylight saving. I love daylight saving for reasons that are explained in this poem. But somehow my sense of the unexpected light suddenly in March and the unexpected dark suddenly in October, the strangeness of it, let my father step through some kind of crack in time, and I felt his presence in remembering that. So this is called Daylight Saving for Glyn Maxwell, 1928 to 2016. I only put the dates in because I mentioned voting, and Sib is the name we gave him. Daylight Saving. Sib, They're considering doing away with daylight saving. I wanted to tell you in one of the fora we wander together, neither one literally here. Anyway, I don't know the reason. The folks of the morning and folks of the evening met at a table and at the same moment rose in agreement, doing away with daylight saving, and nor was I there to say, hold your horses, as you would have said, and so would your father. We three in a line, having doubts at the same time, wasn't to be. No one sat in our places. No one spoke up for the scent of the hedges, our marathon hide and seek going on, when the sun should be set, and we shouldn't be out, and the ribbon of light down the curtains for ages. Infinite, really, in that there's no ending, anyone's showed me. No one spoke up for the thrill of the way the last shreds of a Sunday clung at the gate like their father was coming to ferry them home. All gone if you look, but no one is looking. No sib. They are thinking of doing away with daylight saving. Won't miss the beetling advance of the dark on your boys standing up in our bikes heading home. They won't miss the witches just missing the trees when it's not even 5. For whatever they save, they will lose as they do. It's not going to be time. Who knows why they had daylight saving at all? I'm just glad we had it. I'm sure you explained. You're explaining now. And I'm listening how I have generally listened and always will, for the love in a sound. They are doing away with daylight saving. And where shall we meet? Now God, I don't think so, is shutting those windows and locking the house like a yesterday. We shall meet where the light and the clock are askew, and the language has scrambled to say what that's like, and it's thinking it might let the space play the light, and it might let the space play the other thing too. What was it called? 2 hands in a ring, and one pointed to there, and one pointed to there. There was its point. Who knows where it went, howls the language again, and goes back to its darning, as back to St. Francis we go, you and I, where we voted that second last time you went out. Won't say how that went. There'll be time better spent, and light better shed to go wandering by. Thank you.